Hi guys, this is Tracy with Popup Paint Studio, and we're doing another paint kit design that we have available. This one is called Golden Sea Star, and the reason why we call it golden is because we're actually going to use some gold paint. And I don't know if you can see how shiny that is, but yeah, in the light, it just has a really nice shimmer. So if you have your Golden Sea Star paint kit, you have your design, you have a printed copy of your design. I have a painting here. You do have 5 brushes that come with each paint kit. We've got our large flat brush, we have our large round brush, we have our small flat brush, our small round brush, and then our detail brush. And all kits come with those 5 brushes. You have your colors, of course, and a paper plate with your kit. And what I like for you to do is just open the lids, place them next to the color so that you can readily identify them when we are going through the painting process, and just set them over here. It kind of helps keep the mess in one place also. You have a sponge that comes with your kit, and what I need for you to do is grab you a cup of water, because that does not come with your kit, and you definitely need that for rinsing your brushes. So what I want you to do to begin with is I want you to wet that sponge, whether you wet it in your clean water or on the sink, and then squeeze it out really good and set it to the side. And what we use this for is if we do a mark on our painting we don't like, we can simply wipe it off. If you get something while it's still good and wet and you just made the accident, you can easily wipe it off, okay? If you let it dry, it's not going to come off as easily. So just remember that. So I'm sure that I'm going to do something I don't like, and I'll show you exactly how that works. So let's just go ahead and get started. The first brush that we're going to be using is going to be our large flat brush, and we're going to be painting the sand. So the sand color is going to be your light raw sienna mix. It looks something like this. With this design, a lot of these colors look alike, so definitely place your lids next to the color so that you don't accidentally get the wrong color. And if you do, it's no big deal. With acrylic paint, the cool thing is that you can let it dry and you can paint over the top of it. So if you feel like you've made a mistake, if you can't get it off with the sponge, let it dry, we'll paint over it. So we're going to be painting the sand, but we're going to go around the starfish. So you want to get as close as you can. Go ahead and cover up the design line here. By the time we finish painting our starfish, all the black lines from your design will be gone. And you can just paint this on any old way you want to. You don't have to be fancy with it, because we're going to kind of mess it up anyway to make it look like sand. So even if you have lines showing in it, that's okay. All that's going to be gone. I know I keep talking about doing another Christmas painting, and I just keep getting sidelined with these ones I want to do now. It's just not close enough to Christmas. Maybe I'll have to get by Halloween first. I have one of my most recent Halloween paintings you can see here in the background that I'm going to be doing for a class I have coming up. And if you do want to have a party, that's what we do too. Not only do I do paint kits, but we come to your home. We can do birthday parties, and you just pick a design you want to paint, and our team will come to your house and we'll just have a fun party. We bring everything. You'll have the easels. Although I don't paint on easels that much. It's fun to paint with an easel, but sometimes it's not easy to do fine details if you're up in the air painting like this. So it just depends on what you like. But if you have a party, we definitely have easels. right. And of course, this is our water, so we're not painting our water, but we do want to go over that water line to kind of mask that water line a little bit. I about dropped my brush. And if you go too far over the line, that's okay, because the water is going to come up over the top of the sand line that we're drawing. So no worries, it doesn't have to be perfect at all. All right. And don't forget this area. I always forget this area right here when I'm painting the background of the starfish. And also, if you want to, you can paint the sides here. I like to paint the sides like this. And then if you get up here to where the starfish is, leave that open there so you can paint it the starfish color. And then you go like that and leave that open, and then you can go around the corner and paint it the starfish color whenever we get to that. And that looks so cool when you hang it up. It just looks so finished, and you just hang it up. As soon as it dries, it's ready to hang up. I also have a video that's fall themed, Halloween themed. It doesn't have a paint kit to go with it. So in the description, it gives you all the supplies you'll need to do it. It's a really cute 3 pumpkins on top of each other. So check that out. And if you want to do something Halloween-y, you don't have to have a paint kit to paint. They have canvases everywhere now. Everywhere. Even in just the little, we used to call them dime stores, like Dollar General and places like that. They're not dime stores anymore. That tells you how old I am. Okay, so now we've got all our background sand painted in. And what I want you to do now is take your brush, put it in your paint, and do this. Just kind of like a little woodpecker. Just it's called stippling. And what we're doing is we're kind of covering up any of the brush strokes that you might see, and it makes it look a little bit messy, like sand would look. And we're going to put another color on top of this also, but this is just giving us a background of a more textured feel and look. And you can see already, it's kind of looking like maybe people have been walking on the sand, or oh, there we go. I'm going to do it everywhere. Same color, but it just gives, once it dries, you'll be able to see how you don't see those brush strokes anymore, and you just see kind of a cool texture of sand. I love it. Beautiful. All right, perfect. Okay, so now we're going to put that paint down, and we're going to rinse our brush in our water. Now, you also have a paper towel in your paint kit. You're probably going to need more than one, so we'll see. Sometimes I can get by with one, and sometimes I need more. So rinse, rinse, rinse. And then I just lay it right there in the paper towel and kind of squeeze it. There we go. And now we're going to grab our raw sienna. The first one was a light raw sienna mix. This one is just plain raw sienna. So it's a little bit darker, looking like that. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to paint along the edges here. It's a little bit of a darker color, and it's not like we're trying to cover the color. We're just kind of dry brushing a little bit of that darker color on top. When it dries, it'll get darker. Doesn't have to be a solid color. Just kind of blend some in there like that. Because you know when the water comes up on the beach, how the sand gets darker. That's what we're trying to make it look like. Like this, the water has come up here on the beach and it's making that sand a little bit darker in that area because it's wet. And later we can add more, because sometimes when you put wet paint on top of wet paint, it just kind of moves it around. So later on we can add more. But the other place that I want you to make a shading or a dark color is on the right-hand side of your starfish. So you're going to go in here and just kind of in here. We're going to make it look like, don't do that, don't put your finger in your paint like I just did. We're going to make it look like there's kind of a shading on this side. So maybe the sun is hitting the starfish from this side and is making more of a shadow over here on this side. And then we can just stipple around the edges there so it's not so obvious of a line. And you can stipple some of that dark over here too. I'm just going to stipple some of that dark. We'll cover that line right there, that shadow. And we're just going to add in some different marks. Move your hand around so they don't all look like polka dots. Kind of make them different marks. And just add it in. Cool. Now yours isn't going to look like mine, and it's not supposed to. You have your painting style and I have mine, right? Everybody has a different painting style. So the more you paint, you kind of get to where you can see that your paintings look alike in some way. And that's just because you have a different style. All right. I love it. Okay, so let's rinse that brush again. Put that paint down. Rinse, rinse, rinse. And dry. All right, now, you know what? We're going to switch brushes. I was going to use this one, but I changed my mind. So I have rinsed it and dried it so I can lay it here. If you have not rinsed it yet, just leave it in your water. And grab your large round brush. That's the brush we're going to be using. And we're going to be using our burnt umber mix. So it's just a little bit darker. Next to your, it says burnt umber mix. Okay? And we're going to paint our starfish. So just paint the background of the starfish. We're going to paint the background first, and then we're going to bring other colors on top of it. Not to cover it, but to accent it. And it's going to be beautiful. So we'll start dark. Even this looks like it would be too dark for a starfish maybe. We're going to lighten him up. And go ahead and cover up those edges. If he gets a little bit bigger, it's okay. Starfish come in different sizes. And you don't have to worry about the streaks on this one either. If you don't like streaks, you can always let your painting dry, your background dry, and do another coat. But just so you don't worry about it, we're going to be adding so many colors on top of it that you're not going to see the streaks. Okay? So it's up to you. You're welcome to do 2 coats. I notice some people, no matter what they do, they want it to be perfect, but you really have to try to let that go when you paint. It's not always going to be perfect, but the fun thing is about painting is sometimes it turns out so much better than you think, and it's such a fun kind of a surprise. I think I always reference Bob Ross, a happy accident. That happens a lot with painting. It's like you just make a mark and it looks so cool and you can't even believe, what it did. And then you remember that. So the more you paint, the more you learn. You don't have to to be born a great painter, to be a great painter, okay? And don't ever forget that. You can just learn like anything else. You just keep painting, and you will be surprised at what happens. You just get so much better. And I, from experience, know that you do get frustrated when you paint. Oh, let me show you how to get the sides here. Okay, so we did that edge like that, right? So now just fill this in with this background color here on your starfish. And when we do the details, remember to go around the edges. It really makes a really fun finish to your painting because it just looks like it's just kind of wrapped around. Anyway, okay. I can't even remember what I was talking about. Anyway, keep painting. Keep painting. Keep painting. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I have gotten frustrated and just throw away my painting. And I shouldn't do that because I found that if you get frustrated, what you need to do is just walk away from your painting and then come back to it later. And you can either fix what you've done or you realize, wait a minute, that doesn't look as bad as I thought it did. So sometimes you just have been painting too long because that can happen too. Okay, so now we're going to start painting the water. Fun water. I love this teal color. And this is it's actually a phthalo green mix is what it's called. It's kind of a green blue, dark green blue color, phthalo green. And I've added some white to it. So it makes it this pretty, it almost turns teal. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our large flat brush. I threw the large round one in the water. I'm just leaving it there. We're going to take our large flat brush. I'm going to turn my painting a little bit like this so I can reach this area a little bit better. And you can do the same thing if it makes it easier to follow. And you're just going to take your teal with a large flat brush and you're going to go back and forth like this. And I want you to paint it like this so that it can be nice and smooth. Now, if you don't want to paint yours the way I'm painting mine, you do whatever you want because that's what painting is all about. But if you want yours to look like mine, exactly like mine, this is the way I did it, okay? So I'm just going along the top part because I want it to get lighter and lighter as I come towards the beach. So at some point, I'm going to start adding white to my brush. Once I get this nice and smooth the way I like it, I'm going to get about that much done. And then I am going to wipe my brush off without even wetting it. Just wipe it off. I'm going to put my teal away real quick while the paint's still wet. I'm going to add white to it. So I'm going to go right here up underneath the teal. See, there's still teal in my brush even though I wiped it off. And I knew that was going to be like that because sometimes you just have too much paint. So just adding white in there. And I'm holding it because I'm using a lot of white. And we're going to brush it back up into this teal color. And look how that mixes so pretty. If you get it while it's still wet, it'll mix and make a beautiful smooth color. You can add some more white up in there if you want. Just leave that top part there nice and dark. Oh, that's looking pretty today. I love it. Always comes out different. All right, so we're still adding white and we're going right down here to the beach. Still adding white. Still going back and forth just like this. I'm just following my little beach line here. And I'm actually going over my beach line. So with the white, not too much now. Once you get down here, you don't want too much, but you're going to go over the beach line because that beach will show through the water and it will look like the water has come up on the beach. So it's kind of a cool effect. All right, there we go. Turn it back around here and we're going to throw that brush in the water. And we're going to put our white away. And the next color that we're going to get is going to be the sand color. The first sand color we use. So that's the light raw sienna mix. And we're going to use our small rounded brush. And what we're going to do is we're going to do kind of like what we did in the sand, where we stippled in the sand. So we're just going to get a little bit of that light raw sienna mix. And we're going to stipple little marks all over our starfish, like a little woodpecker. And I want you to move the brush back and forth in your hand as you're stippling, so that it doesn't make like polka dots, but it just makes like organic shaped marks. Because you know how a starfish is kind of spiny, or I don't know, bumpity. That's what the effect we're trying to get right now. So don't beat your canvas up now. Don't hit it too hard. But yeah, and we're moving that brush in our fingers so it makes different looking marks. And we want to cover the whole starfish. You don't want to cover the brown, but we're covering up all those streaky marks. That brown will still show through even after we put all our stippling on it. The canvas is hopping up and down. And you can make some of them lighter and some of them darker. That's kind of cool. If you do a bunch of them, they get lighter and lighter and lighter. And then you put a couple of darker ones on top, and it looks like almost just like two different colors. So that's kind of cool. Do that too. With the starfish, you can stipple whatever colors you like on top of it. And it never is a wrong. There's nothing wrong about anything that you might decide to stipple on top of a starfish, because they come in different colors. Yeah, you could stipple yellow all over it if you wanted to. You could paint the background a different color. It's up to you. I always encourage you to do something different. Add something to your design if you'd like. I don't know, what would you add to this design? Maybe some more seashells over here or something. Maybe a big shovel in the sand. All right, I think that looks good. So now I'm going to put that color down, and I'm going to rinse and dry my brush real quick. And we're going to use the same brush, the small round brush, and gold. So I know you know where that gold is. And this is what's going to make this guy super shiny, this starfish. So we're stippling our gold on here. Now it looks the same color as your background, as your first little stipple, but it's not. Okay, so you just know that when it gets in the sun or gets in the sunlight, you'll see all this sparkle. So remember where you're stippling, because sometimes it looks almost the exact same color. But it doesn't matter. You can't have too much gold, right? It's called a golden sea star. Did I tell you guys that the name of it? I think I did. I can't remember. Anyway, if you want this paint kit, it's called Golden Sea Star. Just go to our website, hit paint kits, and we will send them right out to you. And if you don't have a paint kit today, I hope you're painting something with us, or drawing something with us, or coloring, or markers. Just get you some paper and use what you have and just create something. It's just so much fun. It doesn't have to be paint. It doesn't have to be the same colors. If you have paint but you don't have these same colors, that's okay. Use colors that you want to use. There's no rules in art. All right, so I've got all my gold that I want on there, so I'm going to throw this brush in the water, and the next brush that I'm going to use is going to be my detail brush. My little detail brush, that little pointy brush. And what we're going to do is we're going to add these fun little white caps. I call them little white caps to the water. So we're going to take our detail brush, put it in the white, and we're just going to run our brush along the edge where this water is. And you can make it thick if you want, Now my hand is kind of shaky. I'm going to have to turn this like this. And honestly, if your hand is shaky, it really doesn't matter because water is going to go every which way anyway. And you can just kind of lay your brush down there and run it along here. It doesn't have to be any certain way. Doesn't have to be perfect for sure. Doesn't have to be the same size for sure because water's not going to all come in at the same, looking exactly the same. So just a few little lines there. If you see that black line showing through, you just put some white on top of it as a little wave. Cover that up. There we go. And you can even come up here. You'll see little streaks of color and you just follow one of those little streaks and it looks like there's a little wave on top of it. Because waves are darker underneath, so if you have a dark area like this, if you put a little bit of white on top of it, it looks like a wave is coming over with the dark underneath it. There's a little bit of a dark piece there. I'm going to put a little wave on top of that. So whatever you like. Do as many as you want or as little as you want. You can really make it thick, like I said. You don't have to worry about when it dries, it'll stay looking like that. So it's kind of cool because it'll kind of look 3D when it dries. I love that. I think it's beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to throw that brush in the water, but I'm going to rinse it because we're going to use it again. That little detail. Yeah, I think I'm going to be able to do this with one paper towel today. Sometimes I'm messier. Some days I'm messier than other days. Okay, so the next color that we're going to use is going to be our yellow, our chrome yellow. And we're going to use our little tiny brush because we're not going to try to overwhelm our starfish with yellow. But we want a few little dots, and I'm talking little dots. I know it doesn't seem like it's going to add much, but it will. Every little color will show through. So little dots, just to show a little bit of yellow. Maybe it's a little sparkle of sun peeking through or showing up on the starfish. I'm not going to do it all the way to the edges. I'm just going to put a few here in the middle area. And that's it. I'm done with that. Okay, throw that one in the water. Put your yellow back and grab your white again. And we are going to be using the small round brush. Small round brush. And look, I didn't even need to use my sponge today. But I can show you real quick. If I were accidentally to drop my brush and get some white right there. I don't want that there, right? I just take my sponge, it's damp, and I just wipe it off. Comes right off. Look at there. All right, and now we're going to add our last detail, which is going to be the highlight on top of the starfish. And it's white, right here, stipple, stipple. Now with this, we are just going to stay what I'm going to call the top of the starfish. So if you think about it, a starfish is a little bit of thickness here. If you put white just on the top area, like right here, maybe to right here, to right here, and don't like cover the whole thing with white, it gives the appearance, white brings it up towards you. It's just highlights make things come closer to you. Shadows make things look further away. So this white should give the appearance of the middle coming up a little bit. I hope I said that right to where it was understandable. All right, so I have my kind of fadey kind of white in there. And now I'm going to add a little bit more in the middle. A little bit more darker white. Now, if you want to put like darker, some of the darker colors, stipple some more on top of there. If it's too much yellow, I kind of feel like now that I've stippled the white over here, it's too much yellow. So, I mean, you do what you want. I could actually come in here, with another, whatever color I want and just stipple around and change what it looks like. So you definitely tweak it any way you want to. I think, let me look. You know what? I think I'm going to put some more gold on the top. Yeah, right here in the middle. I hope I didn't cover up any gold, so I'm going to put some more gold on the top. And then I think I'm going to call it done. So make sure you throw all your brushes in the water, rinse them off really good, scrub them out, and let them dry, and they'll be good again for your next painting session. Make sure you cap all your colors. You have plenty of colors left, plenty of colors to do many more different paintings. So keep a hold of them. Make sure you get the right lids on the right colors. And thanks so much for painting with me today again, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.